Hi, and welcome back to the Coking.com channel. I am Evan Hyde, your host, and we are here on the shop floor with ValvTechnologies. I'm here with Luke Just, and he's going to share with us a little bit about their continuous purge design. So Luke, would you introduce yourself just briefly to the audience?
Absolutely, Evan. So, hello, my name is Luke Just. I'm the Industry Director for Oil and Gas here at ValvTechnologies, looking after the totality of the oil and gas industry globally.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Luke. So what do we have behind us?
So this is one of our coking valves demonstrating our purging configuration. This one is showing the base case with the 3 inlets. We do provide an option with a manifold with a single inlet that only requires one single purge line to feed the valve for all 3 purge inlets.
Yeah, so I think later we'll drop in a picture describing how that actually looks, but you could imagine another piece of pipe coming in and dropping. So in a separate video, we talked about the integral seat versus the live loaded seat. So I'd encourage the audience to watch that video to learn more about that. But how do all these purges work together?
So the first inlet here is going to be on the Belleville spring. It's going to be on the seat pocket, the high pressure end of the valve. The second purge is going to be into the cavity, and the third purge is going to be on the integral seat.
Okay.
And these 3 are flowing steam in a continuous purging flow.
Okay.
It's not a intermittent or blasting style of steam. It is a continuous purge that is flowing, whether the valve's in the open position, operating condition, or fully closed position.
So if it's in travel or if it's in the open position, all these purge ports will be flowing.
Correct.
Because it comes out the other side, and we won't walk around there, but it comes out the other side and dumps back into the process.
Correct. So what is unique to this design is we have the inlets on this side of the valve, and on the flip side of the valve, we have what is called our bypass, where we help to remove that coke from the cavity of the valve, flowing out and then a return back into the upstream side of the valves.
Okay, great. So one of the things that we always talk about in our operator training in the field is, okay, so that's all well and good in the shop, but how do you actually evaluate the performance in the field when the valve's in operation? So if you were to approach this, how could you verify that the purges are flowing as intended?
Yeah, so there's a couple ways, Evan, because you could look at, one, as we mentioned in another video, the performance of the valve through the torque, ensuring that the torque's not increasing, but you could also measure the temperature of the steam as it's flowing into the valve, perhaps at the manifold header, and then at the 3 different points at these junctions, you could measure the temperature of the steam to make sure it's still flowing, that it's still healthy steam flowing through the valve.
And that's sort of a regular preventative maintenance thing that we've often specified with operators, is that's part of their, bi-weekly or monthly rounds at a minimum, sometimes more frequently, to actually check those temperatures, make sure the purge is flowing. One thing I think is unique about this particular configuration is that it does go back in the process. Therefore, when these valves are shut, the purges aren't necessarily going, because we'll have a mirror image of this valve immediately up or downstream, and that's where the blocking spool steams come. So how would these purges behave in the closed position?
So, yeah, again, whether the valve's in the open or the fully closed position, they will still flow steam until said spool fills and you reach a deadhead, and then the valve goes to the ambient temperatures. It falls to the...
Yeah, it sort of comes to equilibrium with the condensate and all the stuff that's kind of filled that cavity.
Exactly.
Right? So that's one of the things that we think is important to consider, is if you are going to go through this temperature monitoring sequence, you have to be cognizant of, okay, well, I'm taking this measurement in the fully open position or the fully closed position, and what are those temperatures telling me? Because if it's fully closed and it has been for 12, 16 hours,
right,
you might approach this and say, I'm reading a cold temperature here, but that's fine.
Correct.
Right? And there's nothing wrong with that, right?
Correct.
So you have to be sort of picky about when and where you actually take your temperature measure.
Right, in the overall process.
Interesting. So I think this is something that's relatively unique. Every sort of valve configuration has a different philosophy here. Here it's to the continuous purge, and it's something that is something that you try to make sure that every one of your clients understands, and you have this specific assembly here. So thank you all for sharing this with our audience. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to learning more from you guys in ValvTechnologies. So thank you, Luke. We appreciate
Absolutely, Evan. Thank you very much.
And thanks for watching the video, and come back soon to learn about all things delayed coking.